My name is Marcus Taylor. I'm 41 years old. I run a small auto repair business in Austin, Texas. It's nothing fancy, but it's honest work. The kind of job where you come home tired but proud. I've served people, fixed their engines, changed their tires. I've even rescued a few folks from the side of the highway in the pouring rain. But none of that prepared me for the day my life stalled. Right inside my own home. See, I never liked drama. I've always been the give people the benefit of the doubt kind of guy. That's probably why it took me so long to realize what was really happening behind my back. The night I found out wasn't loud. No screaming. No fighting. Just me. A chair. And a laptop screen playing back 3 days of silent truth. The security footage didn't lie. There she was. Walking out of our apartment. My wife, Jenna. She had our suitcase in one hand, my car keys in the other. The ring I gave her still on her finger. And behind her? A man I'd never seen before, casually carrying a box of my stuff. They laughed. They kissed. Then they drove off. In my car. I didn't cry. I didn't shout. I just sat there and watched. She took the ring. She took the car. She took the apartment we signed for together. But what she didn't know was that I had quietly installed a security camera in the living room 3 weeks earlier. Not because I didn't trust her, but because something inside me whispered, "You'll need this." And I did. I needed it more than I ever imagined. Because that footage, that tiny black lens sitting on the bookshelf, that became the only witness to everything that would come next. They say every betrayal starts with a lie. But mine? It started with a flicker of light on a screen at 2:07 a.m. Short beat. Slight music shift, darker, more tension. This isn't just a story. This isn't a revenge fantasy. This is exactly what happened. And if you're listening, you might want to sit down. Because I'm about to show you how keeping quiet and collecting receipts saved my entire life. Before all of this, before the camera, before the courtroom, before the betrayal, I really thought I had it all figured out. I met Jenna 12 years ago at a friend's barbecue in San Antonio. She was wearing this yellow sundress, standing barefoot in the grass, drinking iced tea like she was born to make people feel calm. She smiled at me like we'd already known each other. And somehow, I believed we had. We clicked fast. 2 months in, we were inseparable. She'd drive 45 minutes just to sit with me in the garage while I worked. I'd bring her coffee on her night shifts at the hospital. We used to talk about opening a little diner together one day. Jen and Mark's, she called it. She even sketched a logo on a napkin once. That napkin? I kept it in my toolbox for years. We moved in together after a year. It was a cozy 2-bedroom apartment with squeaky floors and a leaky faucet. But it was ours. And for a long time, it was good. Birthdays. Anniversaries. Road trips to nowhere with cheap motel rooms and diner breakfasts. She used to laugh in her sleep. I still remember that. We weren't perfect. But we were real. Or so I thought. Looking back, the signs were there. Not big, obvious ones, just small, slow shifts. She stopped asking how my day was. She started staying late more often, always charting or covering for a coworker. Our weekends turned quiet. She stopped singing in the kitchen. But I didn't ask questions. I figured it was just the stress. Life gets busy. Love changes shape, right? One night, I came home to find the apartment dark. No dinner. No note. Just silence. I found her asleep on the couch, fully dressed, her phone clutched in her hand. She didn't wake up when I kissed her forehead. She didn't even stir. I told myself, she's tired. Just let her rest. And I did. Over and over again. Because when you love someone, really love them, you make excuses for their absence. You defend the silence. You protect their secrets, even from yourself. I still remember the exact moment I realized something had changed between us. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't some big fight. It was Tuesday. I came home with takeout from her favorite place, Thai curry, extra rice, no onions. I walked in, and she looked up at me like I was interrupting something. Her eyes didn't soften. Her voice didn't lift. She just said, "Oh, I already ate." That night, I sat alone on the balcony, eating cold curry in silence. And I realized that silence had become the loudest part of our relationship. She used to call me her hero, said I was her safe place. But now, I was just furniture. Something always there, but rarely seen. Still, I didn't walk away. Because part of me still believed in us. Still believed in the woman who once danced barefoot in my garage while I changed her oil, laughing to an old Stevie Wonder song. But the truth was, that woman wasn't coming back. I just didn't know it yet. Pause. Music fades into a low suspense beat. I used to think betrayal looked like yelling. Slammed doors. Cheating scandals. Broken dishes. But mine looked like silence. Polite distance. A phone that never left her hand. That's how it began. And it was about to get much, much worse. At first, I told myself it was in my head. The distance. The late nights. The way her phone always stayed face down on the table, or out of sight completely. But then, it wasn't just the phone. It was the way she laughed, differently. Like she was saving her real smile for someone else. It was the way she started dressing nicer, but not when she was with me. Her perfume changed. Her routines shifted. She had a new lock screen picture, some generic sunset. No more photos of us. I'd ask how her shift went. She'd say, "Fine." Nothing more. No stories. No details. Jenna used to live for details. And me? I started watching. Not in an angry way. Not possessive. Just aware. Alert. I noticed things I'd never paid attention to before. Receipts from restaurants we never went to. Gas mileage that didn't match where she said she'd been. New clothes in her closet, tags already ripped off. And then there was her smile. That little half smile she used to save just for me? Now it was gone. Like someone else had it now. Still, I stayed quiet. I didn't confront her. Didn't accuse her. Just watched. Because I knew, if I pushed too early, I'd look like the crazy one. I needed to be sure. That's when I bought the camera. A tiny black lens, no bigger than a golf ball. Motion activated. Full audio. Disguised as a Bluetooth speaker on the bookshelf in our living room. Not to catch her. To catch myself. To confirm whether the gut feeling in my chest was real, or just insecurity playing tricks on me. 3 days passed. Nothing. Normal behavior. Quiet evenings. Empty words. But then came Thursday. She said she was covering a night shift. Told me not to wait up. Kissed me on the cheek like nothing was wrong. I waited until she left. Then I checked the feed. Nothing at first. An empty living room. Just shadows. And then, at 9:12 p.m., the front door opened. She walked in. Laughing. Not alone. He followed behind her. Wearing my hoodie. Carrying a pizza box and a six-pack of beer. They sat on my couch. Put their feet on my table. Watched a movie on the TV I bought. And then I heard her laugh. That real, open laugh I hadn't heard in months. They kissed. Right there. Under our wedding photo. I paused the footage. My hand was shaking. Not from anger. From something colder. That was the moment I knew. This wasn't a phase. It wasn't a rough patch. It wasn't something we'd work through. This was a second life. A secret life. And I was a ghost in my own home. I didn't cry. Not then. I just pressed play again. Watched them get comfortable. Watched her take off the ring. The same ring I gave her on a beach in California 7 years ago. She set it down beside the beer like it meant nothing. That night, I didn't sleep. I didn't eat. I just watched the footage over and over. Every movement. Every whisper. Every betrayal. I wasn't hurt yet. Not fully. Because pain comes when hope dies. And back then, a small part of me still hoped it was a mistake. A one-time thing. But the next night proved otherwise. She didn't even wait a full 24 hours. Same guy. Same couch. Same lies. Except this time, I noticed something new. She wasn't nervous. She was comfortable. Like she'd done this a dozen times before. That was the breaking point. That was the moment the man in me, the husband, the partner, the provider, and someone else took his place. Not a monster. Not a victim. But something colder. Smarter. Strategic. Because if Jenna wanted a clean escape, she picked the wrong man to lie to. Music shifts, sharper beat begins to fade in, tone becomes focused, deliberate. She thought I wouldn't fight back. That I'd just disappear. But what she forgot was that I've rebuilt engines from scratch. I've patched tires in the rain with no tools. I've solved problems no one else could see. And now? She just became the biggest one of all. I didn't break when I saw them kiss. I didn't break when she took off her ring. But I broke when I heard what she said next. The second night they were together, she opened a bottle of wine. My wine. The one I'd been saving for our anniversary. She poured 2 glasses, kicked off her shoes, curled up next to him like it was her new normal. And she laughed. She laughed in a way I hadn't heard in years. And she said it. 6 words I'll never forget. He's too soft to do anything. She was talking about me. Not with hate. Not even with guilt. Just amusement. Like I was some harmless fool she'd outgrown. She took another sip of wine and said, "He still thinks I'm working nights. It's almost too easy." That was it. That was the moment the man who loved her, the one who waited up, who brought flowers, who made excuses for her silence. He died right there. And something else took his place. I didn't feel sadness anymore. Not heartbreak. Not anger. I felt precision. Like a switch flipped in my head. Like every ounce of pain turned into cold, focused clarity. I closed the laptop, sat in the dark, and whispered to myself, "It's my turn now." From that moment on, everything I did had one purpose. Not to yell. Not to chase. Not to threaten. But to outsmart. To make sure every lie had a receipt. Every betrayal had a timestamp. Every piece of her new little fantasy life was quietly documented and stored. And the best part? She had no idea. She came home later that night, acted tired, dropped her bag, asked me, "Can you warm up the leftovers?" I smiled, said, "Of course." And I did. I microwaved the leftovers and the truth. Because from that day forward, every smile I gave her, every nod, every kiss on the cheek, was part of a plan. She thought I was weak. She thought I was blind. But I was patient. Pause. Music shifts, subtle, rising tension builds underneath the last few lines. And patience? That's what makes the difference between a man who reacts and a man who wins. The thing about betrayal is that it teaches you how to move in silence. No shouting. No confrontations. Just decisions, one after another. The night she mocked me on camera, I didn't sleep. I made a list instead. Back up the security footage. Document every instance, dates, times, details. Contact a lawyer. The next morning, I was at work by 6 a.m. But not to fix cars. I used the shop's office computer to upload everything, hours of footage, to an encrypted drive she didn't know existed. I labeled the folders by date. Even made a spreadsheet, incident log, Jenna/infidelity/financials. It felt surgical, mechanical. Every hour, I was either tightening bolts under a hood or tightening the noose around her fantasy life. That same week, I met with a divorce attorney. I didn't tell anyone. Not my friends. Not my brother. Not even my mom, because silence is power. And if I was going to do this, I had to do it right. I told the lawyer everything. Showed him the footage. He leaned back, folded his arms, and said, "This is one of the cleanest cases I've seen in years." Turns out, in Texas, adultery still matters. Especially when it involves shared assets. You see, Jenna wasn't just sneaking around. She was spending our money to do it. Hotel charges. Takeout. Clothes. This. She even used my credit card to buy him a birthday gift. A gold chain. From a site we used to order anniversary gifts from. That receipt? I printed 3 copies. My lawyer said, "We can nail her with this. But play it cool. Don't let her know you know. Let her keep hanging herself. And that's what I did. Every night she came home, fed me the same tired lies. Work was brutal. I'm exhausted. I might pick up another shift. I smiled, warmed up dinner, and silently scanned her phone when she was in the shower. iMessage, Instagram, a second WhatsApp account she didn't think I knew about. The messages were vile. Not just romantic, degrading. She called me boring. Said she felt trapped. Mocked the way I folded my shirts. And he? He was just a kid. 26, bartender. Drove a leased BMW. The kind of man who wouldn't last 5 minutes in a real commitment. But none of that mattered. Because I wasn't out to punish him. I was out to expose her. And she made it easy. One night, I told her I had to fly out to Oklahoma, a work seminar. She kissed me goodbye. Said, "Don't forget to FaceTime me tonight." I smiled, nodded, then drove around the block, parked a few streets away, and waited. 3 hours later, he pulled up that I filmed the whole thing. From the moment she opened the door in lingerie, to the part where they toasted wine in our living room, again, it was theatrical. Like they were rehearsing for some sick rom-com. I had all I needed. By now, I had 17 hours of footage. 43 screenshots. Bank records. Location history. Phone logs. She thought I was soft? I was surgical. Even found a private investigator on a veterans forum, ex-Navy guy who charged half the usual rate and had a record of never losing a case. He followed her twice. Confirmed it all. I didn't say a word. Instead, I bought a new phone, registered a fresh number, and texted her anonymously. "He's not who you think he is." No reply. Next morning, I left a tiny USB on her passenger seat. It had one video file.
4 minutes. Muted, but crystal clear. Them. In our apartment. On our couch. I watched her face as she came inside that evening. She didn't know I was watching her from the hallway mirror. Her hand was shaking. She dropped her keys. Looked around the room like it might betray her. She didn't speak to me that night. Didn't touch me. Didn't even fake it. That's when I knew. She was afraid. But I wasn't done yet. My lawyer filed the papers. We scheduled the court date. And I timed it perfectly. 2 days before court, I moved out. Took my clothes, my tools, and my mother's photo. Left everything else, even the car. But I took the security system offline before I left. Because the final move was going to happen in public. And the world would hear exactly who she really was. The courthouse smelled like old paper and fresh endings. I wore a clean black shirt. Didn't say much. Didn't need to. She showed up in heels, hair curled, face painted like she was stepping into a job interview, not a reckoning. She avoided my eyes. My lawyer leaned in and whispered, "Don't gloat. Let the truth speak for you." And that's exactly what I did. The judge asked if we had cause for a fall-based divorce. My attorney stood, clicked a small remote. A TV screen lit up across the room. And suddenly, there she was, on camera, pouring wine, kissing him, mocking me. No sound, just visuals. But the effect? Devastating. Her lawyer objected, something about privacy and context. But it didn't matter. We had receipts, bank records, timestamp footage, a sworn statement from the private investigator. Her lawyer looked like he wanted to melt into his briefcase. The judge turned to Jenna and asked if she wanted to respond. She opened her mouth, closed it, then said the one thing she'd never said before. "I messed up." Too late. The ruling? My lawyer had already pre-negotiated terms in case of uncontested fault. I got the car. I got the apartment. I got 80% of our joint assets. She walked away with a suitcase and a reputation shredded in a courtroom with half her co-workers sitting behind her. Why were they there? because I invited them. Anonymously. Sent out little witness requests with court details and a hint of curiosity. You might want to hear what she says under oath. She always loved attention. So I gave her a stage. When it was over, she tried to catch me in the hallway. Said my name once. I didn't stop. Didn't turn. Didn't even blink. Because when someone rips your soul out and laughs while doing it, you don't give them closure. You give them distance. And silence. 3 weeks later, I saw a post on her social media. She was finding herself, drinking herbal tea, wearing crystals. But the comments? Let's just say, people remembered the courtroom. As for her little boyfriend, he ghosted her. Probably realized real life doesn't come with a free couch and stolen credit cards. I never spoke to either of them again. But one night, I checked the security footage from the apartment. I hadn't deleted the final backup. And I saw something. The last video before I moved out. She was standing alone. In the kitchen. Looking at the ring box I left behind. I didn't leave it there to be sentimental. I left it because it was empty. Like her promises. Like our marriage. She stared at it for 47 seconds. Then slammed it shut. That was the last frame I ever saw of her. Music softens. Slow, reflective tone with warm undertones. People ask me if I ever regret it. The camera. The silence. The plan. And I always say, no. Because I didn't destroy her life. She did. I just hit play. It's been 14 months since the divorce was finalized. And for the first time in years, I sleep all the way through the night. No late night pacing. No checking phone locations. No second guessing someone else's lies. Just silence. And peace. I moved out of that apartment. Sold the car. Started fresh. 3 towns over. Smaller place. No security cameras. No shared bank accounts. Just me. My dog. A new truck I paid for in full. People think starting over is about building something bigger. But for me, it was about building something quieter. I stopped trying to win the breakup. Because honestly, there are no winners in betrayal, only survivors. And I survived. But more than that, I rebuilt. I go fishing every Saturday now. Work fewer hours. I reconnected with my brother. Even started therapy, something I never thought I'd do. At first, I hated talking about it. Felt weak. Ashamed. But the therapist asked me something that stuck. If someone had held a knife to your throat, would you be ashamed for surviving? No. Because betrayal is a knife. Just slower. Quieter. And sometimes more lethal. But I lived through it. And I didn't let it turn me bitter. Some nights, I still think about her. Not in a romantic way. Not even with anger. Just clarity. She didn't break me. She revealed me. Showed me who I really was. What I could endure. What I was capable of, not just in revenge, but in restraint. Because I could have exposed her to her family. I could have sent that footage to her workplace. I could have dragged her through the mud online. But I didn't. Because justice isn't about ruining someone. It's about restoring yourself. And I did. In full. Music fades into gentle strings, emotionally rich and final. She took the ring. She took the car. She even took the apartment. But she didn't take my soul. And from that, I rebuilt my life. Not for her. Not even for revenge. But for me. If this story made you feel something, hit that like button. And if you've ever rebuilt yourself from rock bottom, drop a fire in the comments. I see you. You're not alone.